welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are on a pretty critical mission. We're trying to move beyond all the glossy, endless AI hype.
So much hype.
It's a lot. We're focused on just one question. What really drives profit when you add AI to your business? We're here to give you a framework to, stop guessing and actually start measuring.
And it's so vital that we do this. I mean, AI has this enormous investment promise, but if small businesses just jump in without a real framework for evaluation...
Which they are doing.
They are, and they're not generating ROI, they're just engaging in what I call costly experimentation. Buying software based on buzzwords, throwing money at shiny objects, and just hoping something sticks.
We want to eliminate that risk for you. Our goal today is to turn all those theoretical ideas about AI efficiency into, confident, dollar-driven decisions. We're going to give you a practical, data-driven way to find, evaluate, and implement AI tools that will demonstrably pay for themselves.
And often in just a matter of weeks, really.
So if we're building this ROI framework, where do we even begin? It sounds complicated.
It's deceptively simple at the start, but it's absolutely non-negotiable. The entire calculation rests on valuing what the AI tool is replacing.
Which is time. The time of the owner or the team.
That is the absolute foundation. If you don't assign a real dollar value to your time, you can't measure any savings. The basic formula is pretty straightforward for an owner.
Okay.
You take your desired annual income and you just divide it by 2,000, the standard number of working hours in a year.
Simple enough. So if you're aiming for, say, $100,000 in income, your baseline hourly value is $50 an hour.
$50 an hour. But that's just the starting point. You have to adjust for reality.
Especially in the small business world.
Exactly. If you, the owner, are actually working 60 hours a week, not 40, your true hourly value is immediately lower, that same $100,000, but divided by 3,000 hours a year.
Right. 60 hours over 50 weeks.
Their value just dropped to $33.33 an hour. And on the flip side, if you're evaluating an employee's time, you have to use the fully loaded cost.
So not just their paycheck.
Never just the paycheck. It's salary plus benefits, plus taxes, plus overhead. Their time is always more expensive than you think.
And this all leads to, I think, the most critical concept here, the one that really makes automation so profitable. Opportunity cost. The time you spend on those manual, low-level tasks, it doesn't just cost you that hourly rate, it costs you the revenue you could have been generating.
This is the thing. The time itself has a cost, but what you didn't do with that time has an even bigger cost.
Wait, hold on. I think this is where people get stuck. If I'm paying an assistant, say, $20 an hour to file paperwork, and my own time is worth $100, why is automating their $20 task the best move? It feels like I should automate my expensive time first.
That is a great question, and it completely flips the strategy on its head. For high-value activities, we're talking strategic planning, closing sales, client relationships, we use an opportunity cost multiplier.
A multiplier.
Usually 1.5x to 3x. So your time is worth $100 an hour. If you spend that hour organizing paperwork instead of calling a potential client, the real cost isn't $100, it's $200. You lost the $100 in direct time value, plus the potential $100 in revenue from that sales call you never made.
So the key insight here is that the tasks that are easiest for AI to automate.
Like the admin tasks, the routine operations.
Right. They have the lowest strategic value, but automating them creates the highest possible opportunity. You're freeing up the most expensive strategic time for stuff that actually makes money.
You've got it. That's the core of the strategy.
Okay, so we know what an hour's worth. We get that low-level tasks have these high opportunity costs. Now we need to actually measure the savings. And we have to be realists, right? No overly optimistic marketing promises.
Absolutely not. The first mandatory step here is a time audit. Before you pay a dime for any software, you track the exact time spent on that specific task you want to replace.
Every day.
Every day for one full week. Then you multiply that weekly average by 4.3 to get a really accurate monthly baseline.
Okay, an example.
Let's say you're spending 270 minutes a week on customer emails. That gives you a solid monthly baseline of about 11,161 minutes.
Or 19.35 hours. Let's just call it 20 hours a month on emails.
Perfect. So we have our 20-hour baseline. Now we apply realistic savings guidelines, and these do vary based on the tool.
Why do they vary so much?
It's all about how much human oversight is still required.
Yeah.
So basic automation, like a calendar scheduler, can give you a 70 to 90% time reduction. The machine just handles it.
Right.
But an AI writing tool, that's more like a 50 to 70% reduction because a human still needs to fact check, refine the brand voice, and do a final edit.
And what about really complex workflows?
There, you might only be looking at 30 to 50% savings just because of all the moving parts.
And we can't forget the hidden costs, the sort of administrative overhead.
Exactly. You have to factor in the initial setup time, maybe 2 to 8 hours, which costs you real money, upfront and ongoing management. Even if the AI saves you 20 hours, you probably still need to spend, say, 10 to 20% of that saved time just reviewing output and refining the workflow.
Okay, so even with all those adjustments, the ROI formulas are still pretty compelling. Let's use our email example. We save 20 hours a month. What's the basic monthly ROI?
It's simple. Hours saved times your hourly value minus the monthly tool cost.
So 20 hours saved at our $50 an hour rate is $1,000 in gross value if the tool costs $100 a month.
Then you are netting $900 in pure profit every single month.
That's a 900% return on investment.
And that's just the monthly view. A responsible owner calculates the full first-year ROI. You have to include that one-time setup cost.
So how does that look?
In that same scenario, you've saved 240 hours in a year at $50 an hour, which is $12,000 in gross value. Now subtract the annual tool cost, that's $1,200, and the cost of your 4 hours of setup time, another $200.
So your net gain is $10,600.
For a 757% return in the first year, it's huge.
And if you can get that kind of return, the payback period, the break-even point, must be tiny.
Right.
How fast did that tool pay for itself?
The formula for that is your total upfront investment. So, setup cost plus the first monthly tool cost divided by the monthly value created.
So in our example, that's the $200 setup plus the first $100 subscription, $300 total.
Right. Divided by the $900 in monthly value it creates. The payback period is 0.3 months.
Which is, what, like 9 days?
About 9 days. That's an excellent result. A good benchmark to remember is that low-cost tools under $50 a month that save you just 2 or more hours a week often deliver that kind of immediate excellent payback.
But that quantitative ROI, that's just the foundation, right?
It's essential, but if you only look at time savings, you are missing the true potential. A strategic evaluation means looking at the other value factors, the multipliers.
The multipliers that can, I assume, inflate that ROI percentage significantly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, $900 pure profit a month sounds great, but that's just based on time. We're forgetting the bigger, maybe less obvious wins that can really transform a business.
So before we even get to the advanced math, what are those other factors?
Well, first there are the qualitative things. Does the tool integrate well with your existing systems? That should be a top priority. A standalone tool that needs manual data entry just cancels out your savings.
And I imagine data security, learning curve for the team, all that.
All of that. But let's get to the advanced math, the true value multipliers.
Let's do it.
First up is revenue impact. Did the AI tool directly increase your sales? Maybe through better ad targeting or personalized marketing.
Okay, give me an example.
If an AI marketing tool gives you a conservative 5% improvement on your, say, $30,000 monthly revenue, that's extra $18,000 a year you wouldn't have had otherwise. That goes straight onto the ROI calculation.
And there's error reduction value. And I
Yeah.
think everyone listening has had that late night panic, realizing a typo or a missed detail cost you a major client.
Or just required a really painful, costly fix. The figures there are significant. AI can reduce human error in routine processes by 90 to 95%.
95%.
Oh, think about it. If you have, say, 15 errors a month, and each one costs you $100 to correct in staff time, materials, whatever.
Which is probably a low estimate.
Probably. Reducing 80% of those saves you $14,400 a year in just correction costs. That's a huge and often completely unmeasured cost saving.
And finally, scalability value. This feels massive for growing businesses that are always on the edge of needing to hire someone else.
It's the ultimate avoidance cost. AI lets you absorb significant growth without having to hire more people proportionally. If a 30% increase in work would normally require a new full-time employee.
An FTE, a full-time equivalent.
Right, but the AI lets you manage that growth with just, say, 0.2 of an FTE. You've avoided the cost of 0.8 FTE. If a fully loaded employee costs you $60,000 a year, you've just saved nearly $48,000 in scalability value.
So this is the key insight we really need to internalize. When you combine all these factors, the time, the revenue, the errors, the scalability, the real ROI isn't 700%.
No. We see businesses using this framework hitting returns as high as 1,957%. The true return is dramatically higher than just looking at the hours saved.
So put this massive potential in context. Let's look at what the industry data shows.
Yeah.
Which tools are actually delivering the highest returns right now, assuming, say, a base time value of $40 an hour?
The tool delivering the absolute highest percentage return is workflow automation. It costs around $25 a month and delivers a staggering 1,660% ROI.
1,660%. Why is that number so high? That can't just be time savings.
It's the value multiplier. Workflow automation stops people from having to manually copy-paste data between different systems. By reducing those costly errors by 90 to 95%, that error reduction becomes pure sustainable profit.
It's an investment in risk mitigation.
Exactly. Another powerful one is AI content creation. That delivers around a 961% ROI. The multiplier there is improved SEO and traffic, which studies show can be worth 2 to 3 times the direct time savings alone.
And what about something like customer service chatbots? They're more expensive.
They are, maybe $100 a month, but they still offer a robust 580% ROI, and their multiplier is huge, 247 availability. That alone often increases customer satisfaction by 15 to 25%.
But the calculation is only half the battle.
It is. Implementation discipline determines the actual ROI you get. For complex stuff, you might need a consultant. That adds an upfront cost, maybe $500 to $5,000, but that help reduces your risk and speeds up the time it takes to see value.
So when do you hire help?
Rule of thumb, if the setup affects multiple systems or sensitive data, you hire help, period.
We also highly recommend a phased approach. Don't try to automate your entire business overnight.
Please don't. Start with one simple high ROI tool. That single early win builds momentum and gets buy-in from your team for the next bigger investment.
And you have to budget for training and adoption. I feel like this is the silent killer of AI investments.
It absolutely is. Tools get implemented, but nobody on the staff really adopts them. You need to budget 10 to 15% of your implementation time just for training. That small investment reduces your ongoing tech support needs by 40 to 60%.
And it actually gets people to use the tool.
It increases adoption rates by up to 50%. You just can't afford to pay a subscription fee if no one is using the tool properly.
And finally, integration is the golden rule.
It has to be. Prioritize tools that connect to your current tech stack. Integrated tools deliver 2 to 3 times the ROI of standalone solutions because they create these compounding efficiency gains across the whole business.
So if we just step back for a moment, the core takeaway seems really clear. The most successful small businesses using AI, they aren't the most technical ones.
No, not at all.
They're the ones who identified clear, measurable problems and then found simple, high-impact solutions using this kind of framework.
And they measure everything. Businesses that systematically measure AI ROI are 3 to 4 times more likely to successfully expand their implementations. So you have the framework now. The action plan is simple.
Okay, what is it?
Complete your hourly value calculation, conduct a time audit on your top 2 most annoying pain points, and then commit. Commit to implementing the highest ROI tool within the next 30 days.
By applying this data-driven framework, you move so far ahead of your competitors. The ones who are either implementing AI haphazardly based on marketing hype,
or avoiding it entirely because they're confused.
You have the compass now to navigate all that noise and find pure, measurable profit. The only question left is, which high ROI opportunity will you tackle first?